The silver-haired man stands at the threshold, preparing to enter the student's home. Fufu stares at the tall stranger in disbelief as the reality of the situation settles. He explains that his company insisted he arrive immediately to fulfill the requested assignment. Fufu's heart sinks as he questions the identity of the person he actually summoned. Despite his professional attire, the man's muscular build and cold expression radiate an intimidating aura. The silver-haired man questions Fufu's silence while Fufu feels completely dwarfed by his presence. Overwhelmed by the man's intense gaze, the brown-haired student remains frozen in a state of shock. Fufu considers that the man's frightening appearance will surely terrify the children he is watching. He skeptically questions if the man is truly a professional specialized in caring for newborns. The man responds with a mocking sneer, confirming Fufu's immediate desire to evict the stranger. A sudden chorus of crying babies interrupts, prompting Fufu to delay their confrontation for later. Fufu feels an oppressive weight while the infant's wails continue to echo through the apartment. The silver-haired man firmly guides Fufu toward the nursery to begin the childcare work. Fufu angrily rejects the man's assistance and orders him to leave the premises at once. The man reveals that leaving results in a forfeited deposit, leaving the student utterly speechless. Fufu fumes internally, cursing the agency for sending such a deceptive and difficult nanny. Later, Fufu struggles through the city while lugging an incredibly heavy bag of groceries home. His friend Xiaohe greets him at a restaurant, mocking Fufu's apparent weakness and exhaustion. Xiaohe questions the bizarre items Fufu is carrying beneath his oversized, lumpy purple hoodie. Boom! Fufu reveals he is hiding the triplets inside his clothes, shocking his stunned friend. Fufu fumbles with the babies while Xiaohe yells in surprise at the hidden children. Drained and sweating, Fufu collapses into a seat, completely worn out by the day's chaos. He briefly hallucinates a bizarre scenario where he is a runaway wife returning with triplets. Snapping back to reality, he clarifies that the babies belong to his sister, not him. He explains his sister abandoned the children with him, forcing him into sudden, unplanned fatherhood. His friends worry about how he will balance his postgraduate studies with raising 3 infants. Fufu sighs, knowing his parents would be violent if they discovered his sister's secret abandonment. Xiaohe scolds Fufu for being unreliable while they share a meal at the restaurant. The red-haired girl suggests hiring a professional nanny to alleviate Fufu's immense daily burden. She promises to send contact information for a reputable agency, giving Fufu a glimmer of hope. Fufu decides hiring help is necessary to ensure he can still focus on his education. Back home, Fufu gently warns one of the babies to be careful on the bed. The triplets look adorable while nestled together in their matching brown bear-themed onesies. Fufu momentarily loses himself in play, acting out childish games to entertain the little ones. He even wears a costume tail, fully committing to the silly performance for the children. The babies stare at their uncle with wide, confused eyes as he continues his antics. Embarrassed by his own behavior, Fufu finally checks the nanny agency details Xiaohe sent. A sudden look of shock crosses his face as he reads the information on his home. Chibi Fufu begins calculating the astronomical costs associated with raising triplets and hiring help. He realizes the infants are financial sponges, lamenting the expense while a baby calls him. He tries to comfort a happy infant, questioning if his sister will ever actually return. The peace is short-lived as the triplets begin a fresh round of noisy, demanding cries. Fufu wonders what has upset the little baby this time as the crying persists. He crawls across the mattress to intervene in the growing chaos between the rowdy siblings. Song Xiaoxiao aggressively steals a plush toy from Bebe, leading to more tears and frustration. Fufu attempts to appease the upset child by offering a cute green dinosaur toy instead. Whamp! Song Xiaoxiao yanks the dinosaur away too, causing even more distress for the group. Fufu scoops up the crying baby, desperately trying to soothe the toddler's intense emotional outburst. He adopts a stern expression while scolding Song Xiaoxiao for his selfish and disruptive behavior. A promotional display features the silver-haired man embracing Fufu and the triplets in a hug. A chorus of loud wails erupts as the triplets cry in their bare onesies, sending the exhausted student into a dizzying vortex of stress. Wah! Peace finally returns as the 3 infants drift into a deep, quiet slumber while snuggled together under a soft floral blanket. Fufu breathes a heavy sigh of relief, mentally noting that all that struggle was over a single stolen toy. Slumped on the sofa, Fufu questions his ability to handle the overwhelming demands of childcare alone while feeling like his spirit is leaving his body. He worries about who will care for the pups if he decides to run away from this impossible situation. Looking completely haggard and sleep-deprived, the student reflects on the immense difficulty of caring for 3 newborns and his inability to sleep. A promotional flyer for the Little Monster Housekeeping Center advertises affordable professional nanny and babysitting services tailored to parents with no experience. Lying on the couch, the student scrolls through his phone, skeptical that professional help could actually be affordable for his tight budget. His eyes widen in shock as he discovers a limited-time offer that slashes the hiring price for the agency services in half. Dazzled by the incredible savings, Fufu realizes an additional coupon makes the hiring price nearly a steal. One of the silver-haired triplets looks on with a curious, sparkly expression, mirroring the student's newfound hope for affordable help. The silver-haired man spins the laughing babies through the air, causing Fufu to erupt in a terrified, fiery rage. He yells at the man for being reckless and questions if he thinks babies should be swung around like that. Fufu demands that the arrogant man immediately releases Pup as the tension in the room reaches a breaking point. Protective and fuming, the student scolds the silver-haired man for treating children like mere toys and calls him a brute. The silver-haired man finds the situation amusing while Fufu continues his heated lecture about the man's dangerous irresponsibility. He regrets accepting the man's help even at a discounted rate, fearing the caregiver is far too reckless. Exhausted and frustrated, the student questions why such a careless and unprofessional grown man would ever choose to work as a nanny.
Seeking a way out, the brown-haired student asks if the non-refundable deposit can be applied to hiring a more traditional caregiver. The silver-haired man remains silent, his green eyes narrowing as he listens to the request for an older auntie to take over.
The man leans in uncomfortably close, mockingly questioning if the student was the one who actually gave birth to the infants. He asks why there is such a desperate hurry to hire a confinement nanny if Fufu doesn't need to nurse his own health. The tall, silver-haired man lets out a mocking laugh as he looks down at the flustered and overwhelmed student standing before him. He points out the messy state of the house and Fufu's dark circles, teasingly comparing the exhausted student to a panda. The student feels completely exposed as the man observes his haggard face and the chaotic wreck of the apartment. The silver-haired man maintains his arrogant stance, looming over the student with a confident and mocking air. A questionnaire identifies the triplets as Xiao Xiao and Bei while asking for the name of the third bear-clawed infant. A chibi version of the student holds up a star, encouraging viewers to rate and follow the ongoing story. A close-up shows the silver-haired man's hand reaching out toward the student, ready to make a move. The brown-haired student is frozen in confusion as the tall man's fingers suddenly brush against his cheek. The silver-haired man questions why the student suddenly grabbed his hand, misinterpreting the move as a seductive trick. He asks if the student is trying to please him and wonders where such bold tactics were learned. In a sudden defensive move, Fufu bites the man's hand hard, his face flushed with extreme embarrassment and anger. Both characters are shown in chibi form as the man yells in surprise while the student continues his aggressive bite. Hey! The silver-haired man displays the clear, perfect bite mark on his hand with a triumphant and mocking smirk. The student reacts with utter disgust at the man's display, while the silver-haired stranger remains unfazed by the hostility. Flushed and defiant, the student continues to argue, his expression a mix of anger and physical exhaustion. The student covers the baby's ears as he continues his heated confrontation with the arrogant, silver-haired stranger. The man waves dismissively while mockingly questioning if the person who bit him is actually a puppy. Chibi versions of the pair continue their spot, with the silver-haired man laughing while the student barks in frustration. Woof woof. Fufu warns the man not to judge his messy life without knowing the full, complicated story behind the infants.
The silver-haired man remains dismissive, stating that whether the student is a mess or incompetent is none of his concern.
He coldly informs the student that they will never see each other again once the nanny switch is officially completed.
Waving goodbye, the tall man wishes the student luck with his struggles and prepares to depart. The man's green eye narrows as he leaves the apartment, thinking to himself that the student is incredibly naive. A chibi version of the student clings to a baby, feeling optimistic about finally getting a new professional nanny soon. Fufu meets with an agency representative who explains that finding a replacement will be difficult due to a staff shortage. She notes that despite current discounts, the low pay and heavy workload make hiring a new nanny nearly impossible. A chibi Fufu looks dejected as he hears that the agency is struggling to find someone willing to take the job. The agency staff member reveals that the silver-haired man who previously accepted the order was actually the boss's son. The student looks on in utter shock as the woman shares the latest gossip about the young master's identity. She suggests that Fufu should have tried to get along with him to secure better internal perks and discounts. The student's expression shifts to complete disbelief as he listens to her advice against a background of office chatter. Fufu's mind reels as he processes the fact that the arrogant man he just evicted is the wealthy son of the boss. He remembers the man's arrogant attitude and realizes that only the boss's son could get away with acting so badly. The man's mocking smile and the forfeited deposit haunts the exhausted student. The student sits in stunned silence, contemplating the massive mistake he made by chasing away a potentially powerful ally. A flashy version of the silver-haired man is shown surrounded by wealth and exclusive agency benefits. Fufu laments his bad luck, realizing only someone with that much money could be so unbearable. Utterly defeated, the chibi student wails on the bed, feeling he missed out on a golden opportunity for help. Fufu struggles through the city again, hauling heavy bags while the triplets are strapped to his chest in a carrier. He mutters to himself about the difficulty of buying diapers while dragging the whole family along.
Looking completely drained, the student lets out a long, weary yawn as he faces another day of chaotic solo parenting.
The brown-haired student carries the triplets in a carrier while they wear chicken-themed onesies.
One silver-haired infant looks out from his chicken hood with a very grumpy expression.
Chibi Fufu carries a baby in his arms while a playful, flowery background surrounds him. Fufu and the silver-haired man stand outside a convenience store as the afternoon sun shines.
The silver-haired man wears tinted green sunglasses while a single word of surprise escapes him.
Fufu looks up in shock, questioning why the arrogant silver-haired man is still following him.
Fu yells for the man to stop reckless play while remembering the dizzying spins.
A series of frantic, loud cries erupt as the toddlers continue their rowdy, energetic movement.
A shoe stumbles on the pavement while a sudden, urgent warning sounds to avoid falling.
Large hands reach out to catch the falling child before any harm can come to them. Fufu and the silver-haired man stand face-to-face while holding the infants in the store. The silver-haired baby looks on with a bored expression while tucked into his chicken outfit. Drool stains the man's shirt, causing the student to freak out over the incredibly awkward situation.
Fufu struggles to suppress his laughter while a chibi baby praises him for the accidental revenge.
The store clerk informs them that the items they need are at a distant supermarket. A dizzy, chibi version of the student suffers through the motion sickness of a car ride. Exhausted, Fufu wonders if he should just put the heavy infants in a big plastic bag. Fu asks if the fussy Xiao Xiao is unwell while the man denies any wrongdoing.
The man checks a diaper, noting that leaving a wet one too long irritates the skin.
He guesses the other two infants also need changes, leaving the student completely shocked and overwhelmed. Fufu realizes they must visit the specific supermarket mentioned by the staff despite the long distance.
The student firmly asks the wealthy silver-haired man if he can provide a ride there.
The man mockingly asks why help is requested now when Fufu previously fired his professional nanny.
Fufu reflects that he must occasionally make personal sacrifices for the well-being of the three kids.
The man finds the student's behavior amusing, contrasting it with the time he was bitten.
A nauseous student is shown violently carsick, his spirit seemingly leaving his body in rainbow colors.
The man offers future rides while the student thinks he would rather die than carpool again. The man promises a quick return from the store while Fufu refuses another ride in his car.
Chibi Fufu runs away from the white car as the silver-haired man watches from the door.
The brown-haired student looks down with a weary and defeated expression after the chaotic car ride.
The silver-haired man stares silently, his green eyes showing a hint of hidden, deep contemplation. Seeing the triplets crawl happily, the man thinks that Fufu truly does care for the children.
Chibi Fufu celebrates his successful shopping trip by triumphantly hauling several massive bags of supplies.
The silver-haired man tosses a package to the student while a loud catch sounds up.
Fufu realizes the man bought him motion sickness medicine, wondering if the gesture was truly for him. Loading the car, Fufu thinks the arrogant man might not be such a bad person after all.
The silver-haired man rolls up his sleeves with a determined look, preparing to handle more chores.
Fufu feels like a country bumpkin after seeing the man set up a high-tech baby station. A faint, dazed look covers the student's face as the overwhelming demands of the day continue.
The man threatens the student not to vomit in the car while Fufu tells him off.
A giant rainbow of vomit erupts while the man screams a loud curse at Song Fu. Driving with an annoyed expression, the silver-haired man lets out a frustrated sound at the mess.
Completely passed out, the sick student rests in the car seat with the infants beside him. Kicking the door open, the furious man carries the sick student and the babies inside his home. The man plans to wash the infants while one of them lets out a loud, unhappy cry. The man decides to deal with the messy student next as a baby watches with wide eyes.
A close-up highlights the messy state of the student's pants following the disastrous car ride home.
Steam rises as a hand reaches toward the exhausted student resting in a warm, soothing bathtub. Chibi versions show the man calling the tiny student a little mouse who is small everywhere.
Enveloped by a giant white snake, the man thinks Fufu is a perfect small size to hold. A predatory thought echoes as a massive white snake tail looms in the darkness. The white snake's green eye gleams with satisfaction amidst a shower of bright flowers.
Song Fu wakes as the massive white snake coils possessively around his bare body. The snake hopes the spirit energy it drained from Song Fu won't have a negative impact.
A sly forked tongue flicks out from a mouth as a soft hiss sounds.
Liu Xiu smirks while holding the sleeping brown-haired man in a protective, intimate embrace.
Under a soft blanket, Chibi Song Fu snoozes peacefully, dreaming of being a tiny mouse.
Song Fu awakens with a start as hands reach out to comfort him during sleep.
Liu Xiu demands car wash money via friend request, confusing the dazed Chibi student.
Liu Xiu insists on payment while Song Fu realizes he passed out from severe car sickness.
Song Fu feels strange, realizing he accidentally transferred his physical sickness to the silver-haired man.
Chibi Song Fu panics upon realizing his human form is beginning to fail him again.
A sudden whooshing sound trails through the hallway as a door stands silent and closed.
Song Fu collapses behind the door, panting while questioning his sudden loss of physical stability.
Liu Xiu refuses unpaid labor, leading Song Fu to desperately agree to officially hire him.
Song Fu's peanut-patterned shirt lies discarded and glowing on the floor as his form changes.
Small furry paws stand on the floorboards where the student's human form just was. A tiny mouse looks up in utter shock, horrified to have transformed back so suddenly. Chibi Songfu encourages the mouse to transform back as it strains with great effort. Songfu despairs over his inability to change back, trying to recall his previous methods. The mouse sits before a mirror, focusing intensely on controlling the flow of spirit energy.
Lucy Yu casually orders a contract and his personal belongings to be delivered via phone.
A phone notification reveals a message questioning Liu Siyu's new commitment to the Mouse Kids. Liu Siyu smirks at the discarded clothes, taunting his hidden little thief mouse with amusement.
A dark silhouette looms in the green light, contemplating its little thief mouse's fate.
A small mouse squeaks while studying a book of phonetic symbols to improve its communication.
The mouse diligently uses a stick to write the name Song Fu in the soil.
A white snake tail slithers past while the mouse laments its perceived worthlessness and failure. The mouse offers itself as food to the white snake, which responds with a hiss.
Songfu jolts awake in a cold sweat, realizing the snake was only a dream.
Chibi Songfu is bewildered to find himself still a mouse in a grassy field.
The mouse pinches itself to confirm reality while Song Fu struggles to stay calm.
A bright flash sounds as Chibi Songfu suddenly pops into existence with a start. The mouse follows a trail through neighborhood greenery, wondering about its current unknown location. Using a magnifying glass, the mouse realizes it has no memory of how it arrived. Song Fu successfully unlocks the door while flickering rapidly between his human and mouse forms.
The mouse scampers through the bathroom as water splashes loudly from the nearby running shower.
Liu Siyu stands under the shower holding apple-scented soap while steam rises around his frame.
The mouse watches the thrilling sight, feeling a mix of intense embarrassment and strange jealousy. Overwhelmed by the situation, the mouse turns and scampers away from the bathroom in panic.
Liu Siyu looks toward the door with a knowing smirk, sensing he is being watched.
Liu Siyu, wrapped in a towel, confronts Song Fu as he returns with a baby. Liu Siyu explains he searched for the missing student and wondered where he have ran.
Liu Siyu mockingly calls Song Fu heartless for leaving him alone with the crying baby. Liu Siyu looks down thoughtfully while Song Fu waits for him to finish his teaser.
Song Fu looks away awkwardly while Liu Siyu asks if there is anything left to say. Song Fu asks for the man's name, surprised by the sudden professional turn of events.
Liu Siyu entrusts the kids to Song Fu, who is confused by the man's intense gaze.
Song Fu formally introduces himself to Liu Siyu, who is frustrated that his name was forgotten.
Liu Siyu abruptly announces a deep cleaning day, leaving Chibi Song Fu shocked and annoyed.
Liu Siyu mentions finding a mouse in the room and insists on a thorough cleaning. Chibi Song Fu looks nervous and sweaty, urgently questioning what happened to the mouse.
The silver-haired man smirks with closed eyes, seemingly enjoying the student's visible distress. Liu Siyu lifts his shirt, jokingly asking if he should keep the mouse as a wife.
Chibi Songfu yells his hatred for the man amidst a flowery, bubbly background. Dressed in a pink robe, Songfu reflects on how long it has been since then. Chibi Songfu lets out a soft sigh while reading a book in his historical home. In a serene courtyard, Songfu leaves a large apple in a basket to chill. Chibi Songfu finds his basket empty and despairs over the loss of his vert.
Songfu looks up in annoyance as munching sounds fill the air, shouting Liu Siyu's name.
Perched in a tree, Liu Siyu eats the stolen apple while mocking Songfu's poverty. Liu Siyu smiles charmingly, stating he doesn't invite people who come uninvited to his presence. Determined to get justice, Chibi Songfu demands the man pay him back immediately.
Liu Siyu tosses the core back, claiming he has no money, so the item returns home.
Chibi Songfu follows the silver-haired man while munching on the remains of the apple. Songfu trails behind the man, explaining that the apple was a gift from his sister.
Liu Siyu looks increasingly annoyed as the persistent student refuses to leave him alone.
Smiling through his sweat, the silver-haired man repeats that he truly has no money.
Songfu asks why the man is following him, while Liu Siyu observes his residence.
Liu Siyu looks at the modest home, thinking it looks like a rather shabby place. Songfu demands a sincere apology to call it even for the stolen piece of fruit.
Chibi Liu Siyu gives a casual, insincere apology that only makes Chibi Songfu angrier.
Liu Siyu warns the student about mountain demons and suggests he should hurry back home. Songfu ignores the teasing, declaring he will stay the night as compensation for the fruit. Chibi Songfu pouts stubbornly, insisting he will wait until he receives a sincere apology. A sinister smile appears as a voice warns that tonight is going to be dangerous.
Songfu declares the night road is perilous while standing in the quiet fenced courtyard.
Songfu tells the man to open the door, oblivious to the massive snake shadow. Back in the present, Chibi Songfu hits Liu Siyu's back, claiming to be celestial. Liu Siyu laughs at the weak strength, comparing the hits to scratching a simple itch.
Liu Siyu lifts the shocked Chibi student into the air by his green frog hood.
Holding Songfu aloft, Liu Siyu lectures him about how rats spread diseases and reproduction.
Liu Siyu smirks, suggesting that rats might have already had babies in the student's house.
Songfu watches in silence as 3 infants in frog outfits crawl on the floor.
Songfu's eyes widen in terror, wondering if the man has finally discovered his secret.
Lucy Yu pets Songfu's head, telling him to focus on the babies while cleaning. Chibi Songfu thinks things over, deciding that the man's logic actually makes some sense. Looking adorable in his hood, Songfu claims he is a very well-connected rat. Lucy Yu stands in the kitchen wearing an apron while checking his phone quite seriously.
Lucy Yu reads a message from his uncle mocking his commitment to the Mouse Kids.
Songfu sits on the floor with the contract while Lucy Yu explains its benefits. Songfu holds a baby while Lucy Yu asks if leaving them on floor is okay.
Songfu begins cleaning the living room, focused on keeping the space tidy for kids.
Two frog babies fight while Songfu tells them to keep their distance from each other. A close-up shows a baby in a frog hood looking up while saying "unk."
A thought bubble expresses shock over the baby seemingly calling out for his uncle.
Songfu looks down at the infant in utter disbelief at the sudden, clear word. A small chibi snake wearing a blue shower cap peeks curiously through a nearby doorway. Chibi Songfu celebrates the baby's potential genius while a frog baby looks unhappily.
Songfu encourages the baby to say the word uncle again with a blush.
Chibi Songfu celebrates as the white snake peeks in, welcoming its favorite little uncle. Wearing a shower cap, the silver-haired man smirks while realizing he was recognized immediately. In a cozy home, Songfu cares for 3 tiny babies wearing green frog hoods. A bright full moon illuminates the bamboo forest, signaling the start of a special episode. Bound and gagged with red ribbons, the long-haired man lets out a confused, muffled sound. A nervous gulp sounds as the tied-up man realizes the gravity of his precarious situation. Standing over his captive, this silver-haired man remarks that he gave a clear previous warning. Placing a flower in the captive's hair, Liu Xiyu warns against staying at a stranger's house. Slender hands hold an ornate, golden-patterned eye mask meant for the bound and helpless young master. Liu Xiyu's voice commands the man to remember this moment well as the scene grows dark. Blindfolding his guest, Liu Xiyu whispers that the night is only just beginning for them both. Back in the present, Songfu proudly considers the 3 frog-hooded babies to be little geniuses. Amidst a background of hearts, Chibi Songfu happily entertains the crawling, frog-outfitted infant triplets. Adorned with chick-patterned sleeves, Chibi Songfu promises to give the children a meeting gift soon. Wearing a shower cap, the white snake cleans the windows while Songfu gives orders. A soft hiss sounds as a hidden voice questions if an item was placed deep enough. Standing precariously on a chair atop a table, Songfu celebrates finally reaching a high-placed box. A look of sheer panic crosses the white snake's face as it spots the dangerous stunt. A sharp sounds as Songfu loses his balance, nearly falling from the unstable height. A loud crash echoes through the room as the chair and table tip over completely. Liu Xiyu catches Songfu midair, holding him close while the startled man says his name. Lying on the bed together, a soft, breathy sound escapes as they settle after the fall. Furiously, the silver-haired man demands to know why the student climbed to such a dangerous height. Grabbing the student's hoodie, Liu Xiyu angrily asks if the man is simply tired of living.
Feeling upset, Songfu argues that he only fell because he was startled by the man.
Coiled in the massive snake tail, Chibi Songfu insists his previous climbing methods were stable. The snake hisses while Liu Xiyu asks how many lives the man thinks he has left. Scolding the student, Liu Xiyu tells him to announce his death wish early to save time. Glaring intensely, the silver-haired man ensures the silent, sweating student dares not make a sound. With a soft sigh, Songfu questions why the man is always so difficult and aggressive. Holding him tightly from behind, Liu Xiyu asks why it's so difficult to ask for help. The massive white snake coils around a struggling mouse, lamenting how much trouble the creature is. An orange-haired boy appears at the door, surprising Liu Xiyu as he calls out the name. Liu Xiyu questions why Liu Chengru is there delivering items instead of studying at his home. Liu Chengru asks to play and questions who the brown-haired man is and what he's doing. With a bright smile, the orange-haired boy formally introduces himself to his new big brother friend. Running around Songfu, the excited boy asks about the babies and requests to be friends. Liu Xiyu pulls the boy away, instructing Songfu to mind the kids while he handles him. With stars in his eyes, the energetic boy asks if they are hunting and begs to join. Liu Xiyu dismisses the boy's request, mocking his lack of maturity and knowledge of his deeds. Songfu looks on in bewilderment as the white snake's tongue flicks out near his face. The white snake looks triumphant, asking if the lesson has been understood while shimmering with pride. Pointing a thumb at himself, the silver-haired man makes a firm, silent claim over his territory. Liu Xiyu's apron message suggests that any prey eaten must end up in his own stomach. Pouting with a sarcastic tone, the young boy makes a mocking face at the silver-haired man. A loud clonk sounds as Liu Xiyu hits the brawny boy on the head for his attitude. Screaming and flailing on the floor, the boy throws a loud tantrum about wanting to stay. Liu Xiyu reflects on how much stricter his own upbringing was compared to the spoiled child. A confused sound escapes the man as loud, phantom crying noises fill the quiet blue hallway. Total chaos erupts as the frog-hooded triplets begin a loud, tearful brawl over their toys.
Sitting on the bed with a small wooden box, Song-Fu stares in stunned silence at the crying infants.
Returning home, Liu Xiyu finds the scene far more lively than expected while Song-Fu welcomes him back. Each baby in their green frog hood is highlighted, marking a brief pause in their loud squabbling.
The narrative explains the conflict began when the children fought over a gold ingot and a longevity lock.
Song-Fu explains his failed attempts to comfort them, questioning why only one child received a special lock.
A close-up reveals the ornate silver longevity lock held over the head of one of the infants.
Liu Xiyu offers stern advice, insisting that gifts must be given equally to avoid causing any resentment.
Looking at his few remaining copper coins, Chibi Song-Fu worries that his contribution might seem far too stingy.
Liu Xiyu emphasizes that fairness is more important than the value of the item, even if it looks shabby. The two sit together in deep thought, trying to figure out a way to satisfy all the children. A sudden realization hits Song-Fu as he looks up at the silver-haired man standing right behind him. Slender fingers skillfully tie vibrant red ribbons onto the copper coins to create simple, handmade charms.
Offering the finished items, Liu Chengri requests to stay, unaware of the massive white snake tail nearby.
3 beautiful coin charms adorned with red and green ribbons are presented amidst a background of blooming flowers.
The white snake looks incredibly proud of its handiwork while Song-Fu admires the unexpected crafting talent.
Peace returns to the household as Song-Fu happily thanks the silver-haired man for helping the children.
A tiny infant in a frog hood holds up the new coin charm with a look of pure wonder.
Embracing the baby, a blushing Song-Fu admits he truly owes the silver-haired man for this favor.
Liu Xiyu turns away slightly, a noticeable blush creeping onto his face after the rare, sincere praise.
Under the quiet moonlight, Liu Xiyu questions Song-Fu's decision to take in another child despite the workload.
Song-Fu defends the boy's helpfulness while Liu Xiyu remains suspicious of the child's reasons for being there.
Handing over a charm, Song-Fu receives a backhanded compliment from the white snake about his hidden talents.
Song-Fu examines the small, simple coin charm in his hands, reflecting on the day's busy events.
Liu Xiyu compares the handmade charm to another, noting how they look exactly the same in every detail.
Abruptly, the silver-haired man claims he no longer likes the gift, leaving the brown-haired man completely baffled.
Taking the box of materials with him, Liu Xiyu walks away as Song-Fu stares after him in confusion.
Liu Xiyu demands a new version with beads woven in, sparking an immediate protest from the tired student.
Leaning in close, Liu Xiyu reveals a handful of colorful beads and insists on the specific upgrade.
Frustrated by the constant demands, a small creature warns the man not to push his luck any further.
A petty argument ensues as Song-Fu tries to reclaim his things, telling the man to craft it himself.
A vision of a green jade lock triggers a deep, vivid memory of a rainy night from long ago.
In a tragic flashback, a small white rot is pinned by a heavy metal trap during a downpour.
Struggling and losing strength, the trapped creature desperately wishes for someone to help it survive the cold disaster.
Feeling worthless and alone, the rat expects the end until a child in a blue hood suddenly appears.
The kind child offers help, though the rat's fading senses can barely register the soft, muffled words.
Showing the glowing jade lock, the boy urgently tells the creature not to close its eyes just yet. Sheltering the rat in his hands, the boy provides warmth, prompting a silent vow of eternal repayment.
In the present, Liu Xiyu watches the group from afar while Song-Fu prepares the babies for a walk.
Observing the scene, Liu Xiyu reflects on hiring the man and how strangely fate has brought them together. A close-up shows Song-Fu lost in thought, his expression softening as he gazes into the sunlit distance.
Sensing a gaze, Song-Fu turns around, making the silver-haired man wonder why he's being stared at.
While pushing the stroller, Song-Fu's questioned by Liu Chengri about the special bracelet given to Liu Xiyu.
The boy demands a matching one, while Song-Fu calculates how old the man would have been back then.
A smug chibi Liu Xiyu flaunts his jewelry, making Song-Fu realize how much more annoying he has become.
Song-Fu scolds the man for showing off and making the children jealous after promising to be fair.
The white snake retorts that it isn't its fault for having something others don't, continuing its playful boasting.
Feeling a familiar headache coming on, Song-Fu can only offer a resigned, tired laugh at the situation.
A sudden, sharp sounds as a hand is clamped over a mouth to silence any further talk.
Refusing to share the spotlight, Liu Xiyu holds Song-Fu close while firmly denying the young boy's request.
Liu Xiyu asks Song-Fu if everyone should listen to him, then claims Song-Fu only listens to him. He refuses to make a charm for the naughty Liu Chengru, while Song-Fu wonders why Liu Xiyu is fighting with a child.
Liu Xiyu tells Song-Fu to take the kids to a shop while he talks to the boy alone. Song-Fu feels bad for the child and decides to make him a charm anyway.
Pushing the stroller through the park, Song-Fu walks away as the boy cries out for him to wait.
Liu Xiyu blocks Liu Chengri's path with a firm hand, insisting they discuss the boy's issues first.
Liu Xiyu looks down at the orange-haired boy and asks if his old bad habits are returning.
Liu Xiyu tells the boy to stop pretending to be a kid since Song-Fu is gone, prompting a serious glare. Liu Chengri defiantly asks why Liu Xiyu is meddling after he admitted to eating a classmate.
Standing in the park, the boy admits he hasn't reflected on his suspension, while Liu Siyu asks for his motivations.
Liu Siyu warns that since the boy's father handed him over, he won't be spoiled and should confess everything.
Liu Chengri desperately claims he only ate a weak rabbit and didn't swallow it, insisting prey is for eating. Liu Siyu asks if he should be a babysitter for prey too, telling the boy to just wait.
The boy threatens to eat the babies and Songfu too when Liu Siyu is not at home.
A sinister, fanged smile appears in the darkness as the name Liu Chenri is spoken.
Chibi Liu Chengri flails on the floor against a dog-patterned background, asking if he will be beaten.
Green energy swirls as Liu Siyu warns the boy not to touch Songfu, citing a lack of discipline.
A muffled crying sound escapes as a hand is clamped over the mouth of a star-hooded baby.
Chibi Songfu cries as a notification shows a large sum of money deducted from his wallet.
Sitting at a cafe, Songfu worries about his missing sister and the future of the abandoned children. Songfu laments his ruined graduate school plans, realizing raising the children will require significant money and effort. Peacefully tucked under a blanket, two of the infants sleep soundly in their star-patterned hoods.
Chibi Songfu considers getting a part-time job and wonders if Liu Siyu would still offer childcare discounts.
Songfu notes that while annoying, Liu Siyu provided all the baby gear and is very careful with them.
Holding his phone, Songfu feels guilty for relying so heavily on Liu Siyu instead of repaying him.
Songfu is surprised when Liu Siyu arrives at the table with a strawberry cake for no specific occasion.
Chibi Liu Siyu looks visibly annoyed, leading Songfu to ask if he had another fight.
As Songfu asks about the boy, Liu Siyu aggressively stabs the cake, terrifying a nearby chibi creature. Songfu searches for mediation tips while a tiny pink mouse eats cake under the snaketail's watch.
A sudden, rhythmic thud-thud sound startles Songfu as a white box on the table begins shaking.
Liu Siyu tells him to calm down as an orange snake peeks out from the vibrating box.
Songfu stands up in shock when Liu Siyu announces his intention to keep the small snake. Looking away with a serious gaze, Liu Siyu listens as Songfu immediately rejects the idea. Songfu firmly argues that for the children's safety, they cannot have a snake in the house. In a sunlit memory, a voice asks a small brown mouse if it is cultivating in the mountains. A soft squeak sounds as the white snake asks if the mouse can use spiritual energy. The white snake reflects on the giant, ugly mice from its hometown while basking in the warm sun. Shimmering in the light, the snake notes that some mice were even larger than itself. A hissing sound accompanies the white snake's question about why the little brown mouse is so small. The mouse scratches its head in confusion while the snake privately thinks the tiny creature is adorable. A massive green snake opens its mouth wide, lunging forward with its pink tongue flicking out. Back in the present, Songfu insists that for safety's sake, no snake can be allowed at home. Songfu explains that a predator is too dangerous for the babies, whom he calls little mice.
Songfu refuses to change his mind, stating that the infant's safety is his absolute top priority.
A star-hooded infant gazes at a blue toy mouse as a hand reaches toward the child. Songfu observes Liu Siu's dark expression and worries that the man might actually hate something. Squeezing a plush toy, Songfu asks Liu Siu what he thinks about snakes while a baby cries. A look of quiet contemplation crosses Liu Siu's face as he looks away from the brown-haired man. Songfu feels a heavy burden of guilt toward a specific white snake from his past. Gazing down, Songfu admits the situation brings back memories he would much rather not recall. The small orange snake peeks out from its box again, marked by a sudden, quick movement. A close-up of Liu Siu's intense green eye captures a moment of deep, silent emotion.
Tension fills the air as an orange snake looks up at a sudden, rowdy call for a fight.
Facing each other with tongues flickering, the two small snakes seem completely energized for a playful confrontation.
The silver-haired man wonders if they got along better in the past or if the child was always afraid.
A star-hooded baby looks up in shock as a blue toy mouse is gripped tightly in someone's hand.
Songfu promises not to judge the man's love for snakes, while Liu Siyu tells him not to overthink.
Standing amidst a background of paw prints, the silver-haired man remains calm despite the playful energy around him.
Floating in a pink circle, a tiny baby in a star hood hugs a stuffed blue mouse very tightly.
Songfu reflects on how keeping mice might be a much simpler alternative to the current chaotic household.
A slender white snake form curves against the bright sky, looking down toward a box on the table.
Peeking out from under a lid, the orange snake watches the unfolding scene with great interest and curiosity.
Standing up suddenly, Liu Siyu admits that Songfu is right about the little snake being too mischievous.
Liu Siyu decides the snake shouldn't come home, leaving the orange creature staring in stunned, wide-eyed disbelief.
Chibi Liu Siyu affectionately pinches Songfu's cheek against a flowery background, and a soft squish sounds.
Songfu asks about the missing bracelet, and the silver-haired man explains that he simply put it away. A tiny pink mouse looks incredibly skeptical as a white snake's tongue flickers curiously near its face.
Liu Siyu reaches into his pocket as Songfu tells him he should have mentioned his intentions earlier. Standing at a cafe, the two men look over the babies while discussing their next move together. Reaching down to the patterned floor, Liu Siyu picks up the 2 handmade coin charms he was holding.
Song Fu suspiciously asks how the man got 2 charms and if he snatched them from Liu Chengru.
Song Fu urges the brothers to reconcile while the orange snake tries to report Liu Siyu's true nature.
Song Fu heads off to find Zhao Xiao, leaving the orange snake grumbling about the lack of food. Peeking through a doorway, the orange snake lets out a soft, sad wail while the baby watches silently.
Wearing a pig-eared hood, a silver-haired infant looks up with wide, surprised eyes at the nearby movement.
A quick rustle sounds as the orange snake tries to hide its presence behind the edge of a wall. An audiobook plays a cheerful song about a big elephant with a very long trunk and spraying water. Song Fu invites the baby to join the audiobook session about an elephant's big ears and strong legs.
The baby points to a snake in the book, letting out a wail that leaves Song Fu baffled.
Liu Siyu notes that the child has better taste than Song Fu for showing an interest in snakes.
Song Fu repeatedly identifies the snake in the book while Liu Siyu looks on with a smug, happy expression.
Song Fu offers the baby a charm while the infant chirps happily, wanting to play with the item.
Pointing at Liu Siyu, the baby shouts his name and calls him a snake, causing much confusion.
Letting out a loud, dramatic wail, the star-hooded baby seems to be expressing a very strong, urgent opinion.
The baby makes a curved gesture over its head, mimicking the shape of a snake or large ears. The baby points toward the hallway with a shout, and Liu Siyu claims he understands the child perfectly.
Song Fu asks if the man did something wrong since the baby seems to be tattling on him.
Liu Siyu worries that the baby spotted the hidden Liu Chengri and hopes Song Fu doesn't find out.
Song Fu asks if the man scolded the boy away, but Liu Siyu dismisses the idea as nonsense.
Liu Siyu dismisses the baby's gestures as play, while Song Fu wonders why the boy left without saying goodbye.
Liu Siyu claims the boy is just in a rebellious phase and is likely up to no good now.
Song Fu worries that the rebellious boy is a poor mouse who has no idea what he's doing.
Song Fu reflects on children growing up and leaving, wondering if he will feel lonely when the man leaves.
A sudden burp sounds as the silver-haired man lifts the star-hooded infant up into the air.
Watching the man sit on the floor with the baby, Song Fu wonders if Liu Siyu will feel lonely. Capturing a photo on his phone, Song Fu wonders if the man will remember their time living together. Song Fu concludes the man will likely just have a regular happy family and forget these current days.
Song Fu reads a request for milk tea from his sister and asks Liu Siyu about finding work. Song Fu shows a local job opening, explaining he needs to save money quickly to raise the children.
Tucked into a soft pink beanbag, the brown-haired boy rests comfortably in a quiet moment of peace.
Chibi Liu Siyu looks down curiously at a small creature, wondering what it is doing on the floor.
The silver-haired chibi continues to watch the tiny pink mouse as it moves across the patterned green background. Liu Siyu leans in close, causing Song Fu to recoil in shock at the man's provocative words.
Chibi Song Fu blushes furiously while Liu Siyu teasingly offers to repeat his previous scandalous statement.
Liu Siyu holds the flustered chibi man whose face turns bright red from overwhelming embarrassment and heat. Liu Siyu smiles and calls him brother, prompting a sharp, ashamed retort from the flustered brown-haired man. Song Fu questions how the man could utter such shameful things out loud without any hesitation. A slender white snake affectionately nudges a tiny, smiling pink mouse amidst a background of floating flowers. Song Fu firmly asserts that even if he needs money, he will never sell his own dignity.
The brown-haired man stands his ground, reiterating that he refuses to earn money through compromising means.
Song Fu clutches a plush toy while Liu Siyu watches him with a silent, neutral expression from behind.
Liu Siyu smirks at the man's resolve, mockingly referring to him as a stubborn little mouse.
The scene shifts to the quiet, modern interior of a milk tea shop with no customers present. Song Fu stands at the counter, noting the manager's apparent busyness despite the lack of people inside. The light blue-haired manager holds a drink, explaining that delivery orders must be completed first.
Wearing a holiday-themed apron, the blue-haired manager looks at the new customer with a calm, steady gaze.
Chibi versions of the two men discuss waiting for the delivery orders to be prepared first.
Song Fu asks about the availability of merchandise while the manager invites him to sit and wait.
As he receives his order, Song Fu tentatively asks the blue-haired manager if the shop is currently hiring.
The manager breaks into a radiant, happy smile upon hearing the brown-haired man's unexpected inquiry.
Without asking for any background information, the manager immediately hires the diligent-looking Song Fu on the spot.
The chibi manager pulls Song Fu away, explaining the shop's remote location and its reliance on deliveries.
Multiple delivery app notifications sound as the manager describes their busy schedule despite the empty storefront.
The two chibi characters agree to continue the tour later as another urgent delivery order arrives. After the manager enthusiastically welcomes him, Song Fu introduces himself, finding the man very gentle and kind.
Back at home, Liu Siyu suspiciously asks if Song Fu encountered any strange people at the shop.
Song Fu scolds Liu Siyu for sniffing him, unaware of the massive white snake looming behind him. A look of quiet, focused calculation crosses the silver-haired man's face as he processes the man's words.
Liu Siyu sighs at the man's tendency to leave things half-said while Song Fu remains visibly annoyed.
Liu Siyu privately notes that the brown-haired man lacks the cultivation necessary to sense faint, hidden auras.
Looking around the room, Liu Xiu senses a faint, confusing mixture of various monster energies lingering nearby. The silver-haired man considers the strange nature of the aura, which feels unlike a typical monster encounter.
A cheerful gurgle sounds as Chibi Songfu enjoys the milk tea while Liu Xiu watches him.
Liu Xiu scolds the man for drinking tea before a meal and potentially wasting the food.
The white snake's tail holds the cup while a tiny pink mouse fumes with visible anger nearby.
Liu Xiu takes a sip of the drink, questioning what could be so good about the liquid.
Puzzled by the flavor, Chibi Liu Xiu ponders the drink with a hand to his chin and questions.
When asked about the drink's maker, Songfu praises the manager for being gentle and easy to handle. Liu Xiu stares at the cup, questioning the brown-haired man's naive belief that everyone is inherently nice. A dark, secret side of the shop is revealed, showing figures in animal-themed gear and heavy chains.
The blue-haired manager laughs warmly, asking if one of his little darlings had an accident in bed.
Liu Xiu tells Songfu to go home after work, claiming the shop environment is very clean.
Chibi Liu Xiu pushes a stroller with a grumpy expression as Songfu walks alongside him.
A sharp tisk sounds as Liu Xiu notes a chaotic and suspicious aura surrounding the shop manager.
While the blue-haired manager waves goodbye, Liu Xiu remains convinced that the man is a bad person.
Liu Xiu complains about the shop's bad feng shui, earning a scolding from Songfu for being rude.
Songfu pushes Liu Xiu's face away, questioning his sudden and nonsensical expertise in reading feng shui.
Songfu defends the manager's good temper while urging Liu Xiu to take the children home immediately.
Offended, Liu Xiu yells at the man, feeling unappreciated for trying to look out for his well-being.
A disgruntled huff sounds as Chibi Liu Xiu storms off, leaving Songfu feeling completely bewildered.
Songfu watches in confusion as the silver-haired Chibi suddenly pauses his dramatic exit to turn back.
Liu Xiu presses a small charm into Songfu's hand, leaving the man feeling conflicted about his behavior. Xiu vows to investigate the manager's background while Bailian looks on with confused surprise. Bailian defends the other man's harsh nature while Songfu finds the atmosphere quite oppressive. The manager invites Songfu to bring the children often, earning the man's deep appreciation. Returning home, Xiu relaxes on the floor while the infant sleeps soundly under a yellow blanket. Liu Chengri writes a plea for restoration while Xiu critiques the snake's handwriting and school status.
A sudden snap sounds as Xiu notes the two boys are more trouble than the baby.
Songfu arrives home with a shopping bag, asking how the day went for everyone. Peeking around a corner, Xiu harbors dark thoughts toward the tiny mouse for being his benefactor.
Xiu becomes visibly jealous upon hearing Songfu refer to the shop manager so affectionately.
Offended by the silver-haired man's attitude, Songfu angrily tells him to skip his cooking entirely. Chibi Xiu storms off in a rage, telling the man to go eat his stupid pastries.
In the bathroom, Xiu decides it's time to reclaim what belongs to him once and for all.
The silver-haired man sits in the bath, his expression cold and full of hidden determination.
Xiu considers making a move tonight, believing the brown-haired man is destined to be his.
A quick, sharp click sounds as the bathroom door is pushed open from the outside. Songfu enters the room, his gaze fixed downward as he approaches the silver-haired man.
A heavy splash sounds as Xiu looks up, surprised by the man's sudden and unexpected entry.
Xiu notes Songfu's strange behavior as the flushed man sits directly on his lap. The two men stare at each other intensely, both their faces flushed with heat and emotion.
Xiu questions if the dazed man even realizes the weight of his current actions.
Hugging the silver-haired chibi, Songfu is mocked for his usual sleazy choice of hairstyle. Songfu clings tightly to Xiu's chest, prompting a concerned call of his name.
Xiu suspects the manager's snacks have left the man acting as if he were intoxicated.
Xiu offers to warm the man up as Songfu nuzzles into him amidst floating hearts.
A small smile plays on Xiu's lips as he watches the vulnerable man cling to him. Xiu wonders if the little mouse has lost all reason while the man continues to embrace him. A soft laugh sounds as Xiu orders Liu Chenri to watch the babies and stay away.
Liu Chengri quickly shields the sleeping infants, warned to keep every hair on their heads safe.
The orange snake laments the pain of witnessing such intimacy from a distance while remaining hidden.
Chibi Xiu looks on grumpily as the pastries from the shop lie scattered across the floor.
Songfu mentions the snacks were a gift, unaware they are causing a mess and trouble.
Xiu realizes the shop snacks are likely responsible for the brown-haired man's current state.
Cursing the manager, Xiu holds the man as Songfu cries out in sudden, sharp pain.
Songfu groans dizzily while Xiu observes how erratic the man becomes when losing his mind.
The brown-haired man continues his tight embrace, leaving the silver-haired man feeling completely overwhelmed. Xiu instructs the dazed man to lie down in the bathroom to recover from his condition. Xiu tries to help him vomit, but Songfu unexpectedly begins sucking on the man's fingers. Songfu lets out a soft mumble while the silver-haired chibi reacts with a bright blush. Xiu calls him a perverted rat, warning him to cherish this chance before he stops holding back. Letting out a soft groan, Songfu remains in a state of dazed, vulnerable confusion. Xiu gently rubs the man's back, hoping the physical comfort will help him feel better soon.
Xiu asks if the man can recognize him, but Songfu can only mumble his name dizzily. The silver-haired chibi holds the man close, questioning what could have caused such a drastic change.
Siyu worries the man needs water after his ordeal while watching him with a concerned expression.
Song-fu looks completely drained, his face flushed red as he rests against the silver-haired man.
A soft swallow sounds as Song-fu gazes intently at Siyu's lips with a dazed look.
Chibi Siyu looks at the bundled man, praying for a peaceful end to the chaotic day.
Siyu reflects on how taking care of the man has become an unbreakable habit over time.
Song-fu falls into a deep sleep, vowing to become a tougher person in his dreams. A slender white snake watches the sleeping man, praising Siyu's kindness compared to his despicable rivals. A promotional flyer for a late-night club features two energetic catgirls against a bright background. Siyu stares at his phone with a disgusted expression, questioning the nonsense he is seeing. The silver-haired man's expression shifts to intense focus as he continues to stare at his device. A monster group chat erupts in panic, with members warning others to stay far away from Bailian. A small cat character holds up a sign urgently telling everyone to run fast from the area. Sitting in bed, Liu Siyu wonders why the manager is so famous and if he is truly scary. A close-up reveals the silver-haired man's narrowing eyes as he focuses on the frightening news about the shop.
Liu Siyu determines that Song-fu must stay away from the manager while the tiny mouse vanishes.
Chibi Liu Siyu panics while searching the bed, frantically calling out for the missing brown-haired man. Question marks float around the confused silver-haired man as he sits alone on the blue-striped bed. A flushed pink mouse appears in a dreamlike panel above a deeply blushing Liu Siyu. Overwhelmed by emotion, the silver-haired man looks down with a face completely red from intense embarrassment. A giant anthropomorphic eggplant reacts with shock as the affectionate pink mouse clings to its side.
Liu Siyu scolds the mouse for messing around, wondering what the manager put in the snacks.
The silver-haired man holds the tiny, squeaking mouse in his palm while hearts flow in the air.
A soft squeak sounds as Liu Siyu smiles warmly at the dazed mouse in his palm.
A sharp squeak sounds as hearts swirl and Song-fu suddenly returns to his human form. Song-fu reaches out to touch Liu Siyu's chest while a voice comments on the man's ears. The brown-haired man's hand rests on Liu Siyu's bare chest, causing the silver-haired man to blush deeply. Liu Siyu's robe is pulled off from behind as he reacts with a look of stunned surprise. Song-fu pulls the robe further down, exposing the silver-haired man's chest in a moment of intimacy. Song-fu covers his face with his hands, his mouse ears twitching as he blushes with intensity.
Chibi Liu Siyu sternly tells the dazed man to behave and warns him against eating the gifts.
A pair of hands reaches for the happy, dazed mouse as pink hearts fill the bright background. A chaotic scene depicts a snake tail and the pink mouse chasing each other amidst floating hearts. Song-fu wakes up in the morning, noting how comfortably he slept while resting on his stomach.
Panic sets in as Song-fu realizes he overslept, frantically asking about the time and the babies.
The brown-haired man sits up in bed, looking slightly dazed and confused by his sudden morning awakening. A bad feeling washes over Song-fu as he recalls a blurry, red-tinted memory of Liu Siyu. Clinging to his head, the mouse-eared man struggles to remember the details of the previous night's events. Liu Siyu enters the room wearing a pale green robe, carrying a bowl of porridge for Song-fu. Siyu mentions leaving porridge by the bed and tells the brown-haired man to eat it himself. Song-fu peeks out from under a yellow blanket, looking shy and vulnerable as he watches the man. A bowl of porridge sits on the table while a thought bubble confirms the children are fed. Liu Siyu explains he is leaving and tells Song-fu to rest once the substitute nanny arrives. Deeply embarrassed, Song-fu hides his face under the blanket while his cheeks turn a bright red. As Liu Siyu walks away, a distinct red mark is visible on his pale, bare shoulder blade. A sudden thump sounds as Song-fu peeks out, noting Siyu's unusual consideration today. Liu Siyu turns, revealing several prominent red marks scattered across his neck and bare upper chest. Buttoning his shirt, the silver-haired man wonders to himself if he was actually the real aggressor. Song-fu tentatively opens his own robe to check his body for any similar marks or injuries. Looking completely bewildered and flushed, Song-fu struggles to understand what transpired during the night. A close-up reveals that Song-fu's chest is entirely clean and free of any marks or bruises. The tiny chibi Song-fu wiggles his tail in confusion while looking over his shoulder at himself. Song-fu notes Sia's unusual consideration while the silver-haired man prepares to leave for the day. Song-fu panics about facing the manager, letting out a sharp "ah" against the starry background. A soft yawn sounds as the white-haired cat person questions being disturbed, mentioning he doesn't meet married men.
The white-haired person denies knowing him, telling the visitor he has found the wrong person.
Liu Siyu identifies him as the one who sent the warning in the monster group top.
Liu Siyu describes the manager's mint-colored hair and heterochromatic eyes, noting his constant smile. The mint-haired manager sheds tears of joy, proclaiming that all his lingering worries have finally ended. As the silver-haired man enters the bar, he questions the manager's motives while being invited inside. Refusing a cigarette, the silver-haired man asks what kind of terrifying demon the manager is facing. The manager questions his guest's ignorance, while the silver-haired man marvels at someone remaining unharmed by demons. A thoughtful expression crosses the silver-haired man's face as he processes the surprising news he just heard.
Realizing the manager is actually an exorcist, the silver-haired man is warned to run away very quickly.
The silver-haired man reflects on the unexpected trouble of encountering someone as dangerous as this mysterious manager.
The sound of a visitor ringing the bell echoes while Song-Fu heads to the door. Opening the door, the brown-haired man is completely stunned to find the mint-haired manager standing right there.
The manager flashes a bright, friendly smile while asking the brown-haired man if he is feeling okay. Noticing a hoarse throat, the manager offers fruit before the brown-haired man shyly invites him inside. A tiny, adorable baby wearing a yellow bunny hoodie gazes up with large, curious, and bright blue eyes.
The silver-haired chibi sits with an annoyed expression, clearly frustrated by the current turn of various events. The room fills with chaotic energy as the characters interact playfully amidst a flurry of floating hearts.
Song-Fu reacts with shock upon seeing his uncle and the manager together while a baby is held.
The manager describes his hobby of capturing demons, leaving the silver-haired man feeling trapped and without escape.
Panicked, the silver-haired chibi realizes that all his precious little ones are now under the manager's control.
The silver-haired man scolds his companions while the manager explains he is just checking on an employee.
The mint-haired manager lets out a soft laugh, finding the entire situation much more entertaining than expected. Dressed in a cozy gray hoodie, the silver-haired chibi reflects on how amusing this sequence has become. Gentle hands reach out to cradle the baby in the yellow hoodie as pink petals drift nearby.
The orange-haired man suggests taking Song-Fu for a meal, while the silver-haired man reacts with surprise. The silver-haired man thanks his guest, who laments that the stubborn child refuses to admit any fault.
Considering his parental responsibilities, the orange-haired man thinks about transferring the boy to a nearby school.
Peeking from a pocket, a small orange snake announces his departure and mentions moving to a new school.
Whispering mischievously, the orange-haired chibi plans on fattening someone up to eat at a much later time.
Leaving the house, the orange-haired man advises the silver-haired man to choose his own marriage partner wisely.
Light filters through bare branches against a blue background, marking a quiet transition in the day's events.
Addressing the rumors, the manager admits his reputation while the silver-haired man notes his surprisingly open attitude.
The manager asks the silver-haired man to deliver a message to the white snake on his behalf.
The orange-haired man demands gossip while the manager explains that Song-Fu accidentally ate the special snacks.
A close-up of the orange-haired man reveals his serious focus as he listens to the manager's words.
With a friendly wave, the manager invites the group to join him for a future outing together.
Sitting together on the sofa, the two men share a moment of heavy, awkward, and very tense silence.
Looking away, the silver-haired man's neck turns a deep shade of red as he struggles with embarrassment. Blushing, the brown-haired man tentatively asks if his companion is feeling all right after the long night's ordeal.
Insulted by the question, the brown-haired chibi reacts with anger and calls the silver-haired man an idiot.
The silver-haired man insists on discussing the events of last night, causing a sudden flush of heat. The silver-haired man reacts with visible frustration to the other's confused response while a small groan escapes.
Becoming intensely flushed, the silver-haired man shouts his desire for them to finally date and be together.
Citing their intimacy, the silver-haired man demands a relationship while the brown-haired man remains dazed and confused.
When the brown-haired man suggests forgetting everything, the silver-haired man becomes completely overwhelmed with a sudden rage. Furious, the silver-haired man demands to know why his companion refuses to take responsibility for his actions.
Pulling up his shirt, the silver-haired man shows off the red marks on his chest from the night.
Song-Fu tries to cover him up, claiming he remembers nothing while the silver-haired man remains aggressively bold. The brown-haired man looks down with a pathetic, tearful expression, hoping to be forgiven for his forgetfulness.
Recognizing the familiar tactic, the silver-haired man prepares to deal with the other's habit of acting pitiful.
The silver-haired chibi stands firm against a background of dog patterns, looking determined despite the awkward situation.
The silver-haired man worries about social judgment, noting how strange it might seem for two men together. Dismissing old-fashioned views, the silver-haired man adjusts his shirt and asks if the other is still hurting.
Song-Fu turns away, suggesting Siyu deserves a traditional family life over being with him.
Siyu counters that agreeing with him would be returning kindness with betrayal, while Song-Fu listens.
Siyu holds a baby while Song-Fu, blushing deeply, realizes the silver-haired man's intense dedication. Siyu gently touches the brown-haired man's forehead in a tender, intimate moment of connection.
Siyu rejects marriage-focused happiness and wants a complete life on his own terms.
Song-Fu claims he isn't being irresponsible, just that there are things Siyu wouldn't understand.
Holding the babies, Chibi Siyu vows to win him over gradually despite Song-Fu's hatred of snakes.
Startled by Siyu's sudden loud outburst, Song-Fu reacts with shock as the silver-haired man vents frustration.
Chibi Siyu demands an explanation while the mouse-eared Chibi Song-Fu trembles with visible anxiety. Chibi Bailian proudly presents a spicy milk tea meal, appearing very confident in his product development.
Bailian asks if the spicy tea will sell while Chibi Song-Fu curiously sniffs a chili. Song-Fu asks for Bailian's opinion on same-sex relationships while they prepare ingredients together.
Bai Lian encourages Song-fu to let love happen naturally, suggesting that true emotions should guide him.
Chibi Bai Lian playfully asks if Song-fu has a crush, causing the mouse-eared man to blush.
Noticing their closeness, Siyu's hand reaches out while Song-fu frantically denies having any romantic feelings.
Song-fu insists he has no crush, while Bai Lian finds their dynamic and pairing quite interesting.
Chibi Bai Lian laughs while recounting a drama theme where immortal demons fall in love with humans.
Song-fu questions why these beings persist despite the inherent difficulties and differences.
Tearing up, Song-fu asks if demons should let go for their human partner's sake.
Siyu questions if the concern is about the white snake's short human lifespan. Siyu observes from afar, wondering if Song-fu is worried about something else entirely.
Bai Lian tells a crying Song-fu not to overthink it as humans might live longer.
Chibi Siyu aggressively pulls Bai Lian away, telling him to mind his own business with visible anger.
Siyu leaves for the new year, reminding Song-fu to eat the prepared dumplings.
Chibi Siyu is encouraged to eat dumplings while admiring a nice bracelet and reflecting.
While walking outside, Chibi Siyu wonders if his companion has eaten the prepared meal yet.
Kids greet Siyu for the new year. He regrets leaving without giving money.
Siyu wonders what Song-fu is doing alone while the mountain signal is bought.
Song-fu calls his parents, opting to stay home with the kids instead of traveling.
A baby makes happy noises while Song-fu laughs off the background sounds to his parents.
Siyu returns home unexpectedly, prompting Song-fu to end his call to talk later. Well, that's one way to ruin a New Year's call.
Siyu wishes Song-fu a happy new year while cuddling one of the babies.
Affectionately, Siyu asks one of the babies for a kiss during their gathering.
Siyu pouts and demands a kiss from the other baby, Xiaobao, as well.
Surprised, Song-fu asks why he returned. Siyu explains it was for the holiday.
Siyu holds Song-fu's hand, admitting he returned to bring warmth to someone alone.
3 adorable babies in red hoodies watch the scene with large, sparkling eyes.
Song-fu blushes, questioning the weirdness of the ritual while Siyu remains very close.
Siyu kisses the brown-haired man's hand with deep affection and a romantic holiday gesture.
2 small marks appear on Song-fu's hand as the mouse character looks on silently. A simple sketch shows Siyu and Song-fu interacting with a baby between them.
A mouse and a man sleep together peacefully in a simple, cute drawing.
Wearing a sleep mask, Song-fu rests while music notes float around him in quietness.
2 babies in bear hoodies watch a screen where a leapfrog animation plays.
Siyu sits with Bai Lian, questioning if the person his partner likes is human. Siyu expresses doubt about Bai Lian's intentions despite the words conveyed by his uncle.
Bai Lian laughs off the youth's assumptions about rumors and true understanding.
The manager mentions that monsters would have been captured long ago if he were aggressive. Song-fu yells for Siyu to stop, questioning how he could ever trust the silver-haired man.
Song-fu points out that despite Siyu's dislike for Bai Lian, attacking him was completely unnecessary.
Outside with the babies, the brown-haired man condemns Bai Lian's intentions toward the uncle as disgusting, while the silver-haired man asks if he is still considering violence. Concerned, the brown-haired man asks if Bai Lian truly likes the uncle, noting that their relationship seems to be moving far too quickly since they just met.
The silver-haired man insists there is no possibility between them because his uncle is already married with a grown child, much to his companion's shock.
Admonishing his friend to use words instead of violence, the silver-haired chibi works while the brown-haired chibi reflects on the uncle's surprising marriage. Stepping toward the carriage, the silver-haired man suggests a supermarket trip for fresh ingredients now that the children are ready for solid food.
Brightly smiling while holding a baby, the brown-haired man suggests they go together to enjoy a rare stroll out in the fresh air.
Dismissing the car due to past motion sickness, the silver-haired chibi offers to drive while the car-sick mouse looks on with visible dread.
Amidst a pattern of bunnies and carrots, 2 adorable babies in pink hoodies play happily with a large stuffed mouse toy.
Worried about the inconvenience of the babies, the brown-haired man decides it is much better for them to travel by subway instead.
Gently patting a baby's head, the man notes that one's own child is always the most important thing in the world. A bright light bulb appears over the silver-haired chibi's head as he suddenly comes up with a clever new idea.
At home, a woman tells a child to wake the father since it is already afternoon and he is still sleeping. Perusing the vegetable stall, the silver-haired man selects a large carrot while his companion curiously examines a tiny mini carrot.
Admiring panda-themed couple outfits, the brown-haired man imagines how adorable the children would look dressed in the matching animal costumes.
When his companion suggests a toy for the boy, the silver-haired man suggests buying educational workbooks instead, causing a silent disagreement.
Carrying their purchases, the silver-haired chibi invites the other for dinner, though the brown-haired chibi worries about being a burden.
The subway becomes incredibly crowded, forcing the silver-haired man to stand protectively close to his blushing, wide-eyed companion.
A stylized illustration depicts a white snake and a small mouse amidst a sea of people as they finally arrive at Tinghua Park.
Struggling against the crush of the crowd, the brown-haired man desperately pleads for people to stop pushing so he can finally exit.
The intense pressure of the crowd forces the 2 men into even closer physical contact as they try to move.
Squeezed against a firm chest, the tiny mouse complains about being flattened like a pancake while the silver-haired man tells him to endure.
Someone shouts for people to make way as the two men are shoved together in the chaotic rush of the subway.
Blushing deeply, the silver-haired man holds his companion tightly, admitting he has no choice, while the other notes the subway isn't so bad. A sudden mishap occurs when someone's shoe is stepped on, causing a moment of panicked confusion for the brown-haired man.
Grabbing him firmly, the silver-haired man whispers for his companion to be quiet so no one will notice their awkward position.
Effortlessly lifting the brown-haired man into his arms, the silver-haired man ignores the protests and demands to be put back down immediately. Worried about the other's safety, the brown-haired man warns him not to make things harder as he doesn't want to have to nurse any injuries.
The brown-haired man tells the silver-haired man to put him down if he is tired rather than forcing himself to keep carrying him.
Carrying his companion like a prize, the silver-haired chibi walks confidently while the brown-haired chibi hides his face in total embarrassment.
On the subway, a little girl and boy watch the two men with sparkling eyes, delighted by the nice sight they see.
Walking along the sidewalk with their shopping bags, the silver-haired man maintains a steady pace as his companion follows closely behind.
Determined not to be seen as slow, the brown-haired man insists that he is capable of moving much faster if he tries.
The silver-haired chibi watches with a smirk as his companion prepares to prove just how fast and capable he can really be.
Disaster strikes again as the brown-haired man's shoe flies off, leading to a loud shout of surprise and a sudden loss of balance. Reacting with lightning speed, a firm hand reaches out to steady the falling man before he can hit the hard ground.
Caught in a sudden embrace, the brown-haired man looks up in shock and begins to stammer out a confused word of thanks.
The mouse-eared chibi demands to be set free, but the silver-haired man keeps a firm grip on his struggling, pouting companion. The silver-haired man claims he is only carrying him because of the lost shoe, telling him not to overthink it as the other feels sentimental. His face flushing a brilliant red, the brown-haired man insists on being put down first to end the awkward and intimate situation.
Refusing to let go, the silver-haired chibi holds the mouse-eared man close and declares his firm intention to keep him right there.
From an overhead perspective, the orange-haired man watches as the silver-haired man prepares a meal while wearing a decorative pink apron. Praising the guest's polite nature, the orange-haired man wishes the brat at his own house was half as well-behaved and adorable. Resting his chin on his hands, the orange-haired man watches fondly as the babies and the mouse play together on the floor.
While the uncle suggests letting the kids have fun, the silver-haired chibi argues that allowing them to mess around will only create bad habits.
Lifting a piece of shrimp, the silver-haired man warns his uncle to be careful because the manager, Bai Lian, has been asking about him.
Standing in the doorway of the kitchen, the orange-haired man curiously asks what the manager had to say about him.
Reflecting on recent events, the silver-haired man notes that Song-fu has been acting quite differently since suffering a loss to Bai Lian.
The uncle suggests letting things happen naturally, but the silver-haired chibi reacts with a blush, asking why such a topic is being raised.
Becoming intensely flustered, the silver-haired man demands to know how his uncle discovered his secret feelings while holding his cooking utensils.
Holding a green mug, the orange-haired man tells his nephew that choosing his own path is admirable, even if it is difficult for others.
Siyu looks back with surprise while wearing a ruffled pink apron in the kitchen. Gao Q warns Siyu to keep certain activities away from the eavesdropping children.
In the dining room, Gao Chu tells the children it is time to eat.
Siyu carries bowls while worrying that the children might stay over, creating more trouble. Song Fu tucks the babies in, wanting to stay close in case they cry. The mouse-eared chibi approaches the silver-haired chibi on the bed, asking if he is awake. Siyu has fallen deeply asleep, looking peaceful amidst the soft glow of the room.
Song Fu blushes intensely while looking at his hand, remembering the marks left behind.
A soft smile touches the brown-haired man's lips as he stares down in quiet reflection.
Beneath a shower of sparkles, the silver-haired chibi sleeps soundly next to a small bear. Joy radiates from the mouse-eared chibi as he celebrates having such an incredible time. Suddenly, a firm hand grips a wrist as Siyu wakes and calls his companion a pervert.
Resting on a pillow, Siyu watches with half-lidded eyes, his gaze full of unspoken intent.
Song Fu stammers out a desperate excuse, telling Siyu to do whatever he wants to him. Looming over his companion, the shirtless silver-haired man asks if they should repeat their intimate actions.
Song Fu lifts his shirt, explaining that Gao Q permitted him to look but not touch. Several small marks are visible on the man's skin, serving as proof of their previous interaction.
Siyu pouts like a child, complaining that his companion is being far too stingy.
While the mouse-eared chibi lifts his shirt, Siyu becomes overwhelmed with a sudden, intense blush.
Song Fu leans in close to the silver-haired man, causing a moment of shocked silence. Hearts float through the air as the two discuss a promise to never cheat. A gentle hand reaches out to brush through the silver-haired man's soft, messy locks. The mouse-eared chibi lunges forward, clamping his teeth down on the other character in a bait. Siyu grumbles about his companion being as fierce as a little girl while fixing his hair.
Song Fu pins Siyu down, pleading with him to stop laughing at the awkward situation.
Siyu notices the mouse ears have appeared, realizing his companion is too flustered to notice. Surrounded by floating hearts, Song Fu admits that everything feels weirdly comfortable despite being wrong. Siyu gazes up with heavy eyes, overwhelmed by the intensity of the moment they share.
A sharp, sudden bite creates a flash of light as the physical contact intensifies.
Siyu winces in pain, his eyes wide with shock after his companion bites him too hard.
Licking his lips, Siyu admits he lost control of his strength during their physical encounter.
Siyu offers to get medicine for the gray lump under the covers, worried he caused injury.
The sun shines over the towering glass skyscrapers as a new day begins in the city.
While out for a walk, Siyu asks to see the marks from the night before.
Pushing a stroller, the brown-haired man tells Siyu to stop asking such embarrassing questions in public.
A hand reaches out to pat Sius's shoulder, catching his attention during their morning walk.
A long-haired newcomer with heterochromatic eyes greets the group, noting their healthy appearance.
The stranger suggests filming a video together for social media, much to Siyu's confusion.
Captivated by the babies, the newcomer asks if they can be included in the video.
The stranger looks on with a playful expression, clearly interested in the group they encountered.
Chibi versions of the cat-like strangers circle around Sang-Fu, who is guarding the stroller.
Siyu shoves a white cat away, wanting to keep the annoying intruder at a distance.
Siyu warns the cat demon to stay quiet about their true identities around the oblivious humans.
The newcomer wonders why they aren't a couple yet if they are already acting like one.
While Siyu chats with the cat, Sang-Fu watches from a distance with visible jealousy.
Sang-Fu wonders why Siyu is smiling at someone else while claiming he wants him.
Kicking a stone, the brown-haired man processes his frustration over the silver-haired man's behavior. The mouse-eared chibi blushes and questions if he is actually feeling jealous of the stranger.
Images of couple influencers flash across a phone screen, showcasing popular trends online. Siyu decides to start a couple account to prevent his companion from ever escaping him.
Sang-Fu fumes over recent slights while Siyu questions his erratic behavior following the accidental pole collision.
Nursing a tender red bruise on his forehead, the brown-haired man admits he was perhaps too reckless.
Surrounded by glowing hearts, Siyu leans in to blow on the injury, but Sang-Fu stubbornly refuses.
Noting the cheesiness of the scene, the cat demon captures a secret photo to document their closeness.
The stranger snaps pictures of the sleeping babies, commenting on how incredibly adorable they are.
Siyu immediately blocks the phone screen, firmly declaring that taking pictures of the children is strictly forbidden.
The cat demon suggests that keeping the kids around makes their status as a couple seem undeniable. Refusing to exploit children for social media, Siyu demands the footage be deleted and their faces hidden.
Siyu dismisses the cat demon's advances, calling her kitten, while Sang-Fu reacts with a shocked, jealous outburst. Staring at the screen in disbelief, the brown-haired man discovers an incredibly intimate photo of the two.
Panicked by the leak, Sang-Fu asks what they should do now that their secret is out.
Siyu admits he didn't expect this outcome, while a chibi lizard awards their performance a 5-star rating.
Sang-Fu critiques Sia's wild ideas, from the pet name to the suggestion of a couple's account.
Sang-Fu tries to draw a line, insisting he is merely an employee hired to watch the children.
A surge of frustration causes the silver-haired man to tighten his grip on his phone with a snap.
Looming over his companion, Siyu challenges the claim that they only share a strictly professional working relationship. Sang-Fu pleads for clarity, begging Siyu not to let others believe there is something between them.
The silver-haired man grabs his companion's shoulders, his expression darkening with a sudden, intense seriousness.
Siyu asks if he is truly serious, causing the brown-haired man to stammer out his name in shock.
Siyu questions the point of his own patient waiting if the other man truly feels no connection. Siyu leans briefly on his shoulder before sighing and walking away to change the children's clothes.
Left alone, the brown-haired man stares at his trembling hand as a cold shiver runs down him.
The scene shifts to an empty restaurant where the quiet atmosphere reflects the tension of the morning.
Wearing his work apron, Sang-Fu reflects on how the children would usually be present right now. Considering the recent turn their relationship has taken, he realizes why they haven't come to see him.
Bai Lian asks why he seems so down today before shifting the conversation to a new dish.
A sudden loud cough erupts from the mouse-eared chibi after he tries a dish that is far too spicy. With tears in his eyes and a flushed face, Sang-Fu struggles to recover from the heat.
Sang-Fu argues the spice level is too high for normal customers, suggesting they ask Siyu for confirmation.
Sang-Fu stares into his drink, feeling a wave of disappointment that the children are no longer around.
The passage of time is marked by a transition through a series of blue atmospheric panels.
Standing at the doorway, Sang-Fu hesitates as he watches Siyu taking care of the children inside. Stealing his resolve, the brown-haired man prepares to face the awkwardness and apologize for his earlier words. Sang-Fu approaches Siyu, using a spilled bowl as an excuse to break the heavy, lingering silence.
The silver-haired man tells him to raise his hands while Sang-Fu insists he deserves no special treatment.
Reaching out, Siyu takes the green mug from Sang-Fu's hands in a quiet moment of physical contact.
Sang-Fu apologizes for his harshness, promising to focus only on doing his job well from now on. Siyu confesses his own anxiety led to his harsh behavior, while Sang-Fu acknowledges the other's genuine kindness.
Looking up with wide, soft eyes, the brown-haired man processes the sincerity of the silver-haired man's apology. Surrounded by flowers, Siyu looks into the distance and admits he no longer sees his companion as an outsider.
The chibi babies happily agree with the sentiment, chirping together in a display of pure, innocent joy.
Siyu notes that his companion has a conscience as the phrase "no longer an outsider" echoes through the air.
Siyu casually takes the green mug to get a drink, leaving his companion standing there in surprised silence.
The silver-haired chibi asks if he is still mad while the mouse-eared man watches with wide eyes.
Siyu smirks, thinking about how easy it was to coax his companion back into his good graces.
Siyu admits the harsh words hurt more because they came from him, but he accepts the apology regardless.
Points to himself in total confusion, the brown-haired man wonders if he is the reason for such feelings.
Siyu repeats his declaration, making it clear that his forgiveness is tied specifically to the person giving it.
Tossing and turning in bed, Song-fu worries that Siyu would be disappointed if they actually dated.
Under a canopy of falling stars, the mouse-eared chibi sits alone in bed, lost in deep reflection.
The brown-haired man decides to accept fate if Siyu is serious about their future together. He vows to care for the silver-haired man through old age and stay until the very end.
He envisions Siyu in a wheelchair as a sudden cough sounds before a mouse weeps at a grave.
Song-fu feels flustered by the romantic breakfast descriptions before shyly inviting Siyu to eat together.
Siyu mentions taking medicine, causing the brown-haired man to worry and ask where he is hurting.
The silver-haired chibi playfully challenges his companion to guess what kind of medicine he used.
Surrounded by roses, Siyu flirtatiously claims that the brown-haired man is his most potent medicine.
The brown-haired man closes his eyes, trying to process the intense romantic atmosphere Siyu created.
The silver-haired chibi asks for marriage while the mouse-eared man begs him to be normal.
Blushing deeply, Song-fu stands in the kitchen while stealing a glance at his silver-haired companion.
Siyu looks on with a confused expression as a question mark floats above his height. Baffled by the sudden change in mood, Siyu is surrounded by several floating, translucent question marks.
Song-fu nervously touches his neck, worrying if Siyu is actually planning to back out. Siyu pulls him into a hug with a soft "oomph" sounding as Song-fu finally agrees.
They sit together as an excited "ah" erupts from the babies, cheering for their newfound happiness.
Song-fu asks why his companion is staring so intensely at him while they sit close. The mouse-eared chibi hides his face, asking if he truly needs to speak his feelings aloud.
Siyu agrees to the proposal, while Song-fu suggests they start with a limited trial period. Siyu promises he won't cling if Song-fu ever decides to end their trial relationship.
Song-fu realizes why Siyu was so kind, while the silver-haired man challenges him to give up first.
A final message announces a temporary ending while the chibi characters offer hearts to the readers. The mouse-eared chibis celebrate under a giant pink heart, concluding their journey for now.